It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
We are live back again. It must be Wednesday, Steph.
Must be Wednesday at noon Eastern, if my calculations are correct.
And it's on the dot, noon Eastern.
Yeah.
And we're coming to you live at ravepubs.com, youtube.com/ravepubs. We're coming to you live on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn right now with rAVe TV, our weekly TV show. I'm Gary K, and I'm joined with
Steph Beckett. So, Gary, how has your week been? What's been up?
This is second week of being back teaching.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, a campus is the most normal it's been in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Very few students. I don't have a class where any students wearing masks. I do see students walking around. I see a few professors walking around wearing masks. I'm not, the rooms are full again. Like we have full classrooms. I've posted a couple pictures on my Instagram feed. I probably should have popped them up here, but to answer your question, I'm very busy because of that, but I'm excited that we're back to normal.
Yeah. That's awesome, though. I mean, I'm
unlike the corporate world where people can choose to stay home Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah.
If you stay home on Mondays and Fridays on the campus, you're going to make a D or an F.
Yeah, you're not going to do
You don't have a choice.
So is
we
school
force you to be here.
Is school no longer offering like a hybrid option? Is it
it's not required. So now everyone's gone back to what they were doing before. So my classes, most of them, I offer high flex, but not every classroom has that capability yet. So, and I do have, as you know, Steph, I teach one class that has 150 students in it, and that, there's no such thing as high flex for 150 students. Really, there's hybrid. But no, it's not required anymore. But I think the great majority of teachers are launching their classes on Zoom just so people can watch and record. But all of our classrooms have recording built into them. All of them have extra on SMPs. You hit a button, or you can set up ahead of time to have every class recorded for the entire semester using Panopto, which activates the SMP recorders. Yeah.
Got you. Well, hey, cheers to being busy. I don't like when things are like a lull, I feel like that's like the worst part.
Yeah. I went to the movie last week and it was packed. So the first time it was completely full.
Which movie was it again?
Do you know? To remember. What did I go see? You have to put me on hold. I've seen so many movies lately. It was Elvis.
Elvis.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I went and saw Thor like weekend before
was it
last.
Good?
No.
So you just went to watch Thor.
Yeah, but like some of the past ones are okay, but this one I was watching it and I was like, Marvel is really running out of ideas. They'll
only make 150 million on this movie instead of 250.
Yeah. So, but like as long as they're still making money on them, they'll continue to make them. And I'll continue to watch them because at this point I'm only like watching Marvel movies because I don't want to be like left out of what's going on.
Well, Elvis is a good movie. I think you should watch Elvis. It's really good.
I've heard from multiple people that I would like it. That what's his face who plays Elvis did a really good job. Austin Butler, I think.
I never heard of the guy. Never seen the guy. And amazing. He
I know him from like Disney Channel stuff. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know where he came from. But he's incredible. Tom Hanks was incredible. The whole movie's great. I'm looking forward to a bunch of movies this fall. This weekend.
Yeah.
You know what goes back to IMAX, right? Worldwide.
No. Star Wars?
Yes. Rogue One. Rogue One.
Wait, that was my favorite. How do I not know about that?
Going back to IMAX. And the reason for it, Steph, if that's your favorite movie.
Yeah, that's my favorite of the Star Wars movies. It's controversial.
So do you know what happens September 21st?
No.
Do you know the character in Rogue One, the guy, Andor, the character played by Diego, what's his name? DeLama or something like that, but he is the DeLuna, Diego DeLuna.
Diego DeLuna, yeah.
They're doing a series, a 12-part series on what happened before Rogue One and how he got to be part of the Star Wars universe. Yeah, it's cool. Another TV series. Yeah,
that's awesome.
You definitely want to go see Rogue One, then get to see this prequel series.
I do. Oh,
I guess we should talk about business.
Yeah, we should talk about business, but really, really quick. Movie Pass. We talked about Movie Pass is coming back.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And how right now what they're going to do is they're going to release a wait list, and you have to quickly sign up for the wait list. And if you get through the wait list, you can only get Movie Pass if you know someone who currently has it.
Are you going to give it access to it, Steph, if you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So don't worry. I got this for the office.
All right, good.
I'll be the link. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we should talk about like business now. So launch week 6 is coming. It's going to be here October 24th to 27th, and we are obviously very excited for it. It's going to be great. We have it separated into days by, different places in the market again. So we're going to have UCC Day, Pro AV Day, Emerging Technology Day, and Digital Signage Day. So it's going to be great. Definitely. We're dropping the link now so you can go and check out more, see all of the talent that have signed up. Yeah, go ahead.
Some of the guest list is incredible. You should definitely review and keep going back to the site to look, because just yesterday we signed up the person who does all of the experiential inside the Field Museum in Chicago to talk about what she did to create experiences in museums using AV technology, but also using XR and VR and AR technology too. So we're not just talking about hardware and products. We're talking about applications, experiences. We're talking about the future of the market. So it's definitely worth signing up. Even if you can't go but one day, go ahead and sign up for launch week 6.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, CEDIA Expo is coming up. It's going to be September 29th through October 1st. We will be there in Dallas, and we hope to see you there in Dallas. And you can sign up by clicking the link below, and that will get you onto the show floor. And we hope to see you there. This CEDIA is looking like it's going to be very, very busy. So I am excited.
Finally, a great CEDIA show. Last year's show was very, very small, but this is going to be back to normal. Even Crestron's back, and they haven't been in CEDIA in years, so they're back on the show floor, and all the big brands are going to be there. And speaking of shows, we go to DSE right after that. A month later or so, about a month and a half later, we go to DSE, back to Vegas for the DSE show on November 17th to the 19th. We actually have a code if you just type in rAVe gift. Whenever you go to any registration for that show, if you just type in DSE or digital signage DSE, it'll pop up. But we have a link that we're posting right now. If you're on social, just type in rAVe gift. You get a free access to the show floor, which gives you access to everything during the entire show.
Yeah, and you wrote up that story, Gary, about how DSE.
Oh, fast! I just wrote that up.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, NSCA is part of DSE. This is a big deal because DSE has always been been on their own. But they've been purchased by another company who's trying to work on better partnerships. And so NSCA, as you know, does a lot of business consulting and business help supporting. They're an association that supports integrators in the AV industry. Helping them get into digital signage is one of the things they're doing. And they've partnered with the DSE show to do some education and also, again, free access.
So looking forward to seeing what that partnership will look like on the show floor. I'm looking really forward to it. And final little housekeeping thing, E4 is coming up again, the E4 Experience, which is Almo's, and that's coming up in Washington, D.C. Gary, what's going to be going on this time?
So I'm the keynote again. I'm excited. My keynote is, I think it's really good. Actually, I've delivered it twice, and both times I've had more people come up to me saying this was the best, most relevant keynote at the moment I delivered it. I've done a lot of keynotes for them that said, like AVIP. I did one on AV over IP 2 or 3 years before anybody was shipping products. So I was like, hey, this is coming. This time it's all about experiences. It's about how you can bring people back to the corporate world using AV and experiential technology, and some simple ways to do that. And how integrators, one of the things I tell integrators in this keynote is that they should be selling furniture, and what kind of furniture they should be selling, so they can help the organizations re-engineer sort of the office spaces. So this is actually a pretty good session. I developed it with the help of people that are smarter than me, with people like Miller Knoll, a gentleman from Miller Knoll gave me some ideas. Also with some of the consultants in the industry, and some of the big integrators in the industry shared with some of the things that they're doing with customizing furniture for applications. So I hope you'll come. If you're in the DC area, you should definitely come. It's September, I think it's for 20th, September 20th, I believe, if I remember correctly.
I can
look that
fact
up.
check you on that. Really
23rd, September 23rd.
23rd.
Yeah, September 23rd in DC. So yeah, check out our website right now. We dropped the link in below. If you just go to ravepubs.com or go to e4experience.com and you can sign up.
Very cool. Well, Gary, as you know, at the end of last week, I took a little trip to LA, which was my first time in that area. And I went to
That was the first time you've been to LA?
Yeah, I'd been to San
know
Diego and I'd been to San Francisco, but I'd never been to LA before.
I had no idea. You'd never been there before. Okay.
So I went and I was visiting a really cool company called DMF Lighting. I don't know if you're super familiar with them. I'd heard of them, and I'd known we had taken like some videos at prior CEDIAs, and they're going to be at this CEDIA as well, which is why I went out there to just kind of preview their products, learn a little bit more about them. They gave me a factory tour, and I really love a factory tour. It kind of goes back to my early days as a journalist because I'm just like super nosy. So I'm just like, yeah, show me everything. Show me how the sausage is made. Like, I want to know. So I got to see so this is like essentially like they do optics testing for their lights in this big egg thing. I did try to get in it and they told me no. So but you know, they were like nice about it. But I
By the way, I like that layout that we're using right now on the screen.
Yeah.
I really like that layout, by the way.
It's very cool. So in the next picture, it's a bunch of light switches, I think, and it is how they test their dimming with their lights with all different controls, because it's really important to them for them to be able to like dim properly with every control out there. So they try with like every switch that they can find on the market to
make sure it's compatible.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So they called that like the wall of shame, essentially, like the switch wall of shame. But I thought that was really cool, because they want like their product to work, their lights to work with essentially any dimmer. Yeah. So thought that was neat. Next picture is the machine that they use to test different drivers, which I thought was pretty neat. They just have like all this
plug-in drivers for other control systems to control their lights. Okay.
Yep. And like they do like pass fail on it. So very interesting. And then they do environmental testing. And the next thing I'm going to show you, because they just like test to see like how hot it can get to make sure that like, you know, it's not going to wreck the light if it's like if it's one that's technically indoor outdoor.
So that's like a big microwave oven.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. And then the last thing is like I got to see a little bit of the assembly process, and that's like the last picture.
Is it automated or is it manual? Like how much automation was in it? Did you get
the assembly process?
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but like this was like partially like all of their stuff is made to just be able to screw into another thing. Yeah. So I think like this was like a more custom line. So like they'll unplug something and replug that in, and that they do by hand. So yeah.
Well, I always loved factory tours. I used to love giving factory tours when I was at Extron because it always impressed people. Because I think you know, when you don't know how something's made, you have no reference, right? You have no context. Right. Once you see it made, it becomes sort of like official, like actually like substantial to you. And it's also fun because you get to introduce them to people who don't get to see customers very often. So I always love doing that kind of stuff. Where are they in Los Angeles? What area?
They are like outside of Redondo Beach.
Okay, yeah, so that's a nice area.
I didn't really know where we were driving around. Like
close to the airport. You're not too far away from the airport.
Yes, so they had me stay in Redondo Beach. So then we drove, and it wasn't far. So I think it was still in the Redondo Beach area. But it was very
DMF Lighting, so you can go check them out. DMFlighting.com.
Yeah, I am working on a story. I should have that up soon. And they will be at CEDIA, and they would love for you and everyone else to go check them out on the show.
They're introducing some new stuff. From what I understand,
they are. They're introducing a new line at CEDIA. Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but it'll be really cool. And just know that like I didn't know a lot about lighting. I didn't know, you know, the whole market is something I'm still learning a lot about. And I learned a lot while I was hanging out with them. So they're a very cool company, and I recommend you to check them out.
Well, speaking of cool companies, one of the cool companies as a sponsor of rAVe TV, Legrand, they do Daylight, they do Chief. They are a glue company in our industry. It makes lots of different products, and let's check out the
Wow, this is a great design. Yeah, slim, looks easy to install. There is so much storage. Cables hidden away nicely. I love the dual displays. We always need extra screens during meetings. Oh. Oh, and the camera is cool. Modern vibe. You can barely see it. This truly is an all-in-one solution.
And now we are on for a segment with a special guest. This is Lee Distad, who has written for the Blog Squad since, before my time. And typically, you write about the home market, and that's something that we have been talking about a lot in this episode. So welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course. So I wanted to talk about your most recent column, and this is the one you submitted to me over the weekend, which is about how doing the right thing is easy. And you tell a cautionary tale in this column. So do you want to tell me, without naming any names, do you want to tell me a little bit about what happened?
Well, here's the short version. I sat down at my desk in the morning, fired up my laptop, opened up my remote desktop, checked my email, and I found that I had been woven into a thread that had been going on for a couple of days between the vendor contact at my vendor and the head engineer at an end user company. The end user had reached out, done their research, reached out to my vendor. My vendor contact is also an engineer, so I had about 3 days worth of engineer speak to read through in the email thread. And they were clearly getting on like a house on fire, which is fantastic. End user had a problem. My vendor has a solution, wove me in, introduced me, and said, okay, well, I'm sure Lee can take really good care of you. Yeah, Lee, give this guy a really great deal on this bill of materials. Except there was one problem. I recognized the end user company as quite a big Canadian company and quite a big customer of one of my biggest customers.
Yeah. So that presents some problems, right?
Well, yes and no. It's not a problem when you know what you're walking into. Your first thought is, oh, hey, great, I'm going to make a sale first thing in the morning. But that's not the right thing to do.
Right.
Reputation is everything. The relationships are everything. I say a lot of the time when I'm coaching other salespeople that it's never one sale. Customer may come to you looking for something small and tiny and kind of pointless in your opinion, and might not feel like it's worth your time, but take care of them. If you can't take care of them for whatever reason, refer them to somebody who can't take care of them. I used to do that all the time when I worked as a designer at an integrator. If somebody was looking for a scope that was well under the kind of things that we did, I would never just say no. I would say no, but go see my friend over here. Here's his cell phone number. Here's his email. He'll be able to meet your needs. Right. But
and
back to the topic. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, so the important thing is here that if you had made that sale, great, you would have made a sale, but you would have potentially upset one of the biggest customers you already have.
100%. Relationships are everything. It doesn't matter what business you're in. The people who got you there are the ones that you should be dancing with. I work as a distributor's rep. I'm a distributor. I have dealers. I don't need to deal with end users because that's what my dealers are there for. My role, my job is to help my dealers make more money, grow their revenue, grow their profit in any way in which I'm able to facilitate that. And I'm not going to torpedo an important relationship over one invoice. It's just not worth it. It makes no sense. You take care of people, they take care of you. Back when I worked in retail, back when I was coaching salespeople in retail, I would always tell them that referral business bought me my house.
Yeah. And
loyalty is rewarded. Relationships reward you. You take care of them, they take care of you, everybody wins. So before I did anything else, I called my vendor contact and I explained the situation, at which point he was like, oh, yeah, no, right, I get it. And then I contacted the account manager at my dealer who takes care of that account. I let him know what was going on. I looped him into the email conversation. And then I responded to the end user. I said, hey, nice to meet you. your contact at your dealer will take care of you, and everybody was happy. So I didn't make one sale that day. I made 2 sales. I made 1 sale for me and 1 sale for my customer. Easy.
Yeah, easy. So what might have happened if you had just made the initial sale like originally intended?
Best case scenario, I get away with it.
Yeah.
But I have to live with myself. Worst case scenario, my dealer finds out about it, and that torpedoes a significant relationship. And not to be mean-spirited here, but if I single-handedly torpedoed one of my biggest accounts, that would have serious consequences for the rest of my professional life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. And if there's like a piece of advice that you could give an integrator or a distributor in a similar situation, what would it be?
Make sure you have all the information you need.
Yeah.
Always ask questions, ask more questions. The information you get from the answers you get back give you more questions to ask. Always qualify everybody you're talking to. And that applies to everything. It just, the more you know about people, the more you know about their situation, you know more about the problem that they have, the better suited you are to look after them, regardless of what the situation is.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times when you're dealing with an end user client, whether it's residential or commercial, they come to you and they think they want a specific thing. But then when you ask more questions, you discover that what they think they want isn't what they really need. And as a professional, it's your responsibility to clarify for that, help them, walk them through that process. And, you know, they may have come looking for one thing, but what they really need is 10 different things, all of which you can do for them. And you open their eyes to those possibilities.
Right. And I think, like, also to your point, it's important to have context. You know, it was good that you like know your customer really well, so well that you know who their customers are. So being able to study up and like provide context in a situation like that is also, I feel like, pretty important.
Absolutely.
Also, final question, if it wasn't like a pretty big customer of your pretty big customer, would your decision have been different if it was just kind of like a smaller company, like maybe not your biggest customer, maybe not like your medium customer? Would it have been different if it was just a small customer?
Not necessarily, simply because my mandate is to grow my dealer base's revenue and their profitability. Yeah. I get end user queries all the time. I'm easily Googled. The brands I represent are easily Googled. And then when somebody's looking for that brand, my name comes up. And then my cell phone number and my email address are right there on our website. I get end user queries all the time. Yeah. And when it comes to commercial industrial product, I pre-qualify them. I ask them, you know, who they are, what their use case is, get as much information as I can. And then I refer them to one of my installing dealers who is geographically proximate to them, who's going to be the best fit to service their needs. And I make that introduction. You know, I love giving my customers leads because they remember that.
Yeah.
Who gives them the most leads, Lee at Hitfar or some other distributor who only ever calls when they're trying to sell them something?
Fair enough. Well, Lee, thank you so much for joining us. I guess my actual final question would be for anyone who wants to continue the conversation or has to ask you for advice, where would you recommend they find you?
My internet footprint is a mile wide, for better or for worse. I'm easy to find. But my personal email is leedistad, all one word, @gmail.com. I'm always open to meeting new people. My job is all about meeting new people. And if there's ever anything I can do to facilitate a new relationship between somebody and somebody else, that's what we're here for. We take care of each other, right?
That's true. This is the industry for that. Well, Lee, thank you so much for hopping on with us today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Steph.
Of course. All right. So before I bring Gary back on, we are going to go to a spot from our sponsor and partner, Shure. We'll be right back.
When we're looking at vocal mics, we want the mic to produce the artist in a true form. And it was immediately obvious to us that the KSM 11 was doing that better than anything else.
When I compared it to the other very popular mic, the 11 had a much better high end to it. It was much smoother, much more natural.
I love it is because it makes my performance effortless.
The vocal is just more upfront somehow.
It's cutting right through. It just sounds so amazing.
The goal of the KSM 11 was to make the most transparent microphone capsule that we could. Field testing is a critical component of designing a product at Shure. And working with industry engineers, we were able to identify the smallest detailed decisions that had the greatest impact in design.
We were getting ready for a run of festivals. A festival is your best test, really, because it's outdoors, the elements and everything. She stepped out on stage and she still had clarity.
Benny was actually a totally different beast. He was a lot more comfortable, and the spill from the band was actually much lesser.
Those early KSM-11 prototypes sounded great. We could have actually shipped that product, but that's not how we do things at Shure.
Shure is a company that understands the bigger picture with their product and how they're designed not just for the user, but also the audience.
Rappers, MCs, they always cup the mic. That is the notorious problem with hip hop.
It's not very cool to hold a microphone like this, you know? So you need a microphone that sounds good when you hold it like this or when you hold it like this.
I actually talked to Shure and I said, boy, it'd be really nice if you guys had a mic that could do this. And so they sent me the capsule, the KSM-11, an early version of it. I sent back some notes. They sent me back another one and I was like, you nailed it, you got it. It is consistent whether or not your artist cups the mic.
As a musical theatre vocal mic, where achieving vocal clarity is absolutely sound design 101. My first experiences of it is that it is a great step forward.
One of the other things to consider when you pick a vocal mic isn't just how it sounds in the room, but how it sounds in broadcast. And we were so impressed with how it came across on the streams, on the broadcast, and how it stood up to being listened to in that environment, as well as in a busy room.
I love designing new microphones. As you design a product over years, you learn exactly what customers need. And being able to finally deliver that need to our customers is the most exciting part.
The KSM-11 compared to other capsules, I think it's far superior.
Put it in your lineup because it's going to be a natural sounding mic.
We're using it on our leading man with absolutely no debate.
It's honest and it does exactly what you need it to do as an engineer.
I can just trust it. I can trust that capsule to get the job done.
All right, that was I've known Lee for 15 years, Steph. He's been writing stuff for a long time, and he's
before my time for sure.
And he's very customer focused, very customer centric, and I think his advice is always what's best for the customer. And I think a lot of integrator salespeople have really appreciated what he's written for the years. So if you're interested in reading his past stuff, just go to ravepubs.com, click on the blog squad, and then pull down his name, and you can see all of his articles.
All of his articles, and there are a ton of them. He writes one per week, so he has written so much for us over the years. So really quickly, I figured it'd be cool to just go over a couple of news pieces from the past week. So one of them is Densitron's latest integration with Bird Dog. So now the company's
Bird Dog's blown up. Have they not blown up? I mean, like they were a company that no one really knew of, and
I
now
didn't know
everybody
who they
in
were.
the market knows them really well.
A year ago, and they're really cool. They basically, this is a company that manufactures a range of PTZ cameras and converters. So this integration with Densitron is pretty big for them as they continue to grow and become compatible with other companies' stuff. So basically, like, their stuff can be controlled through Densitron's IDS platform now. So very cool. I'm excited to see more from this company and continue to see how they grow. And other pretty big news. So the Video Electronics Standards Association introduced VISA introduced the Clear MR compliance, which is a test specification. It's basically tests like motion blur and digital displays. I think for LCDs,
and it's certified. They have a certification program now so that you know what you're getting. Because when you buy a monitor for $600 and buy one for $1,200, you wonder what the difference is, and Visa is gonna basically certify them.
Yeah, so basically what it does is it provides a numerical value based on the ratio of clear pixels to blurry pixels. So it's kind of going to enable consumers to kind of compare the amount of motion blur between different displays.
Right, so it depends on what you're using the TV for, right? If you're mostly watching TV with your television and you're not doing anything else with it, you probably won't bother you as much. But also film motion blur is different than television production motion blur as well because of the color temperature and the amount of action, right? Film is slower. So our tech heads like me love this stuff. Most people don't really care, but I still think it needs to be written up.
Yeah, no, it's something that like is useful to know. So,
Cool.
In other news, Jabra and Lenovo, they are expanding their collaboration. So they're going to have more options for Microsoft Teams rooms, and they added the Jabra Panicast 50, which includes which has a kit. It's a modular room kit, and it includes the Panicast 50 and the Lenovo Think Smart Core kit. So we actually have a video of the Panicast 50, which we are going to show you
A
right
demo
now.
of like what we actually did at Infocom, so you can
Yep.
see this feature working, because this is a unique feature just to Jabra.
Hello, I'm Aurangzeb Khan with Jabra, part of the collaboration business, and I'm joined here with my colleagues Javed Tufel and Daniel Moore. And we're showcasing an industry leadership experience we've just delivered on Panicast 50 called Dynamic Composition. Panicast 50 integrates 9 processors, 3 13-megapixel cameras, 8 microphones, 4 speakers, lots of technology, including 2 1 teraops AI processors. The key value proposition for the product, though, is that we orchestrate all of that technology to create the best collaboration experience so people can focus on what they came together to do, which is conduct their business. We are experienced with this new phenomena that when we're at home, we have a camera dedicated to us, but when we're in a meeting room, we share that pixel real estate with our colleagues. In this case, the last 4 active speakers are given prominent pixel real estate, as you're seeing here on the screen, so that people who are remote, who are experiencing us through that virtual metaverse, experience people in the room in the same way, in the same quality as if they were sitting with a camera dedicated to themselves. It's a bit like having 4 virtual cameras taken out of that full 39 megapixels capacity of our camera array, giving everyone an equal front row presence in the meeting. Thank you. If you would like more information, please come to jabra.com.
All right, so that demo is great, because
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is the remote participant in most meetings doesn't get the same experience as the people in the meeting. So what all these brands are trying to do, it's not just Jabra, but also you have D10 doing it with a unique product. You have Logi doing it with a unique product. They're all trying to come up with different ways so that you can more emulate meeting equity. Now, when we're in Zoom, we all have meeting equity, right? When we go into some people in the room and some on Zoom, you don't have meeting equity. So they're sort of like emulating the Zoom experience for the people, the remote people that aren't in the meeting. So you can see individual facial expressions rather than seeing the group around the table.
Yeah.
I think this is a unique way of doing it. There's other ways to do it.
Yes,
though,
there are like a few different options about this on the market right now. I was just talking to Justin Kennington of SDVOE about this yesterday, that there are so many like auto framing solutions on the market right now. And I think that we're going to continue to see more people put unique spins on this kind of technology.
And they're all patenting them. So therefore, they're all going to have something different. In fact, D10 has one. And we're not going to show that feature, but you should, if you want to go check out the videos we shot at Infocom.
Yep.
What was theirs called? Something it had a unique name to it, but it'll come to me in a second. But they did something different where, or kind of similar to what Jabra did, but different in the way that they presented it. Because they have multiple cameras built into their the Meet product, the Pro, I should say, the D10 Me Pro. And I forget what they called it, IntelliSense or something like that, if I remember correctly. But anyway, they did just introduce a 55-inch onboard product at Infocom that we shot a video of as well. And this is the world of collaboration is, collaboration boards were already growing before the pandemic. Now coming out of the pandemic, everyone's going to want something in their meeting space. So check out this video we shot at Infocom of the D10 onboard 55-inch.
Hey everybody, my name is Jackson Root. We're here in the D10 booth at Infocom 2022, and I want to show you the new D10 Onboard. The D10 Onboard is a purpose-built collaboration device. The idea here is it's a standalone whiteboard. It's built very closely with engineers from Zoom to make sure that it's optimized for the new Zoom Advanced Whiteboard, which you're seeing behind me here. So as I mentioned, it's a standalone device. It's designed to boost collaboration in any space. Right now we have it mounted on a rolling cart. One of the use cases being that you could roll this device from room to room and use it to collaborate virtually in any space, whether it's a meeting room or a lobby or a commons area or a break room, any place where collaboration happens, the D10 Onboard can help facilitate that collaboration and sharing of ideas. It's a really great way to add a digital touchscreen to any existing meeting space. It's very easy to use, it's very intuitive. You have a number of tools at your disposal, including drawing tools, text tools, shape tools. You can bring in images, you can drop them on the canvas here. Because it's using the new Zoom Advanced Whiteboard, it's also a persistent canvas. So I can start a session here at the show, I can drop images in here, I can sketch some ideas out, I can write something on the board, I can save the session, share it with a colleague, they can make their contributions on their time, and I can open up the session later on and continue the collaboration from anywhere. So it's yet another solution in D10's portfolio of products that allows much more seamless collaboration. It boosts equity for everybody, whether they're in the office or they're remote, because anything I put on this board can be shared with virtually anybody in the world in any time zone, no matter where they are. So the D10 Onboard, you're going to be hearing a lot more about this product in the coming months as it becomes available. You can find out more at www.d10.com.
So the cool thing about that is that it is made to work with Zoom whiteboarding. So that function is in Zoom, and D10 is known for making their products work exclusively with Zoom. So that is where that collaboration board is very different from, any of the other ones on the market. And speaking of what Gary and I were talking about earlier, their auto framing it's for the D10 Me Pro, and it is called Inclusive View. It's like a feature that yep. Yeah, we were like frantically looking for it while the video was playing. Yeah. But yeah, you can watch all of the videos of anything that anyone has shown at InfoComm 2022 by going to ravepubs.com, going to the InfoComm 2022 microsite, or all of our videos are on YouTube as well. So I think that is our show. If you would like to watch past Rave TV shows, you can also see them on ravepubs.com, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere else where you can watch live content. And that is it for this week. We will see you next Wednesday at noon Eastern. Once again, I'm Steph Beckett. That's Gary Kay, and this is Rave TV. We'll see you next time.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.